Hemingway on the senses. The details that make your writing more than ink on a page must summon sensual memories. Poe. Death in approaching him had stalked with his black shadow before him and enveloped the victim. And it was the mournful influence, the unperceived shadow that caused him to feel, although he neither saw nor heard, to feel the presence of my head within the room. Hello, this is Jin Okubo for Sunday Fun Day. Nice glass of wine. Well, not a full glass, just a sip, because I still have many things to do. It just envelops so many memories there. A piece of cheese to go with the wine. You can just feel what went into the cheese. Freshly cut lavender, some rosemary. These are how we see. We touch, we feel, we smell. Our brains interact with this. Our brains bring this whole sensation of the world alive to us. It's how humans are. We are a sensual people, and we feel things. We touch, we smell, we absorb the world as we go with this. And that's what this Sunday Fun Day is about. The senses, getting stuff out there, getting the sense of feel into it. Um, First of all, the first thing here we have here is a piece of writing or a movie or a song that takes you back in time to a memory. You know that when you hear that or when you see it or when you read it, you just jump back and you go back in time to that one point where you yourself are enjoying that memory. And for me, there's a song about which is by Whitesnake, which is "Here I Go Again," that always shoots me back to my junior high school days, and it does it every single time that I hear that piece of song. When I read The Time Machine, that shoots me back to my first year of university, because when I was entering university, I had the first 3 months I was doing an advanced program into my university, and I stayed at my uncle's house, who I don't get along with anymore. But I've forgotten all my stuff. All I had were my clothes and the stuff that I needed for university, and that's the only book he had. And I was sleeping in his garage, just to show you what kind of relationship I had with this uncle. He had me sleep in the garage, and I was sleeping in the garage, and I saw this book just shoved into like a bookshelf randomly, and there was nothing else to read there, and there was just there the Time Machine, and I read it over and over and over and over again. I think over the course of those 3 months that I was doing university, I read that book more than 50 times, and I loved it. I fell in love with it. So there we go. A writer who's best brought to your senses of description. So what writer best showed you how to describe things in your works? How you learn to describe through that sense? And for me, that has to be Lovecraft. Lovecraft, Lovecraftian works, whether it's by Lovecraft himself or by other writers emulating him, really dwell on the descriptive factor. They really bring to life the whole scene, not just the dialogue, but every single aspect where you can actually see yourself in that one sense. Um, a writer that you can hear as you read the scene. So when you're reading this book, this is number three, when you're reading the book and you actually hear what they're saying, you actually feel what they're saying. And for me, recently, this writer has to be Del Toro with the Strain series. When I read it and I reread it, he brings it to life where I can feel it. And I'm really disappointed by the TV show that he's made, because the writing was so wonderfully done, right? Number four, how do you incorporate senses into your own writing to envelop those senses? And for that, I'm bringing in my book Love here, just the very first page on the drive, how I incorporate the scene here to make you feel it, right? A small squeal gave out as I turned in my seat. Humidity brought about a thin layer of moisture to the skin, which just would not let go. My car was out to get me. I strained to survive driving my car every day. The summer was not kind in these evergreen mountains, but then again, it never was. There was so much that I hated about summers. My car just added to the pain of it. There you have it. The thin layer of sweat and moisture caused by the humidity of being in the mountains in California in the summer, in the heat, and those old pleather seats, and you would just stick to them, and you could feel yourself sticking to the seat, and it just made that whole thing worse. And you feel that scene come to life. How do you do it in your own writing? That's right there. Number five, the lack of senses, where it worked or where it failed. Um, for me, I think where it works best is in movies where they just cut everything out and you don't see it or you don't feel it, you don't have anything. And Hitchcock did it the best, I think, where you were just anticipating everything. And you can hear Hitchcock say this himself in his own words, where he goes and says, people don't care about the gunshot. It's the anticipation of it. You know it's coming. You can feel it coming, and that's what makes it have value. But then you look at books and you go into the book senses of it, and you get a book like Lawless by Karina, and you when you get into the stories, you can actually feel the the senses there. But there's some times when she leaves it out and it's just dialogue, and you're sitting there going like, I want to feel this, and you have to do your own inference of your own senses into that. How would you be in that character? And it brings it more to life. So the lack of senses sometimes works to your advantage, and sometimes it fails miserably, like in that Sandra Bullock movie about space. So then I want to, for number six, I want to name an indie author that is not known to my circle of friends. So I'm going into my Kindle here, and I'm going to introduce an author that you guys may not know. And I think I recommend that you guys get to know her. Um, this indie author, in fact, it's one of the first indie authors that I read, and she's way back in my list here. She's way towards the back. Um, she, she is, by all intents and purposes, Playmate, Playboy model. And so I want to share this book with you guys. It's called 6200 Carbon Canyon Road, right? By Terliana Peak and My Life as a Penthouse Pet. Yeah, I want to introduce her to you guys. She is a great writer. She has a great little book there. Um, go ahead and enjoy her work there. Very few, I don't think anyone in my circles has heard of her, and she has a great story to tell. Unique blurbs made make one up on the spot for your work in progress. One of my work in progress right now is a sci-fi, and it is involving almost like a theme, like the body snatchers theme. So you have that whole idea of alien race coming to take over humanity, and the blurb that I want to make up on the spot right now is, don't look up, don't drink the water, they are everywhere. That's it. Don't look up, don't drink the water, they are everywhere. And my story is themed around the sense of the invasion of the body snatchers, and involves a little bit of a hive mentality and the last man on earth kind of survival story, which means that it's already too late. So that's my unique blurb right there. um, Number eight, what do you know now about scene creation you didn't know a year ago? And a year ago, I liked long, rambling scene creations that were very, um, I would say, old Victorian-esque, where you would just sit there and lay out the entire scene, almost like Dorian Gray. And it's very enjoyable, it's very readable, but very few people in today's reading environment like those kinds of scenes. they want it broken up a bit more. So they want it more in consumable bites. And though I still have the long creative scenery, I've taken into breaking it apart to more edible paragraphs rather than one, 2 or 3 page long paragraph of just scene building. So I've done it more better that way. Name an indie artist. Number 9. Name an indie artist you've become friends with this year. And this year, I have become friends with a musician, a song editor, and sound editor who goes by the name of Clara Hembry. She is a great sound editor, and I've become friends with her this year, introduced by Joe himself. And she is a great person and someone that I think we should all pay attention to and get to know, because she provides some great services, but she also has some great songs and music on her that she's created herself. There we go. And number 10. Number 10 is very unique for this Sunday Fun Day because I would like to wish Joe and his wife a happy anniversary, and I would like anyone who makes this Sunday Fun Day tag video to extend that great wish for happiness and joy to Joe and his wife, and hope they have many, 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 many more years together. And as the hobbits grow, they should be good enough to reach their 1/11th anniversary together, or 111 years together, or longer if they can. I forgot how long Bilbo lived. I think he lived closer to 150, 200, or close to 200, thanks to the power of the ring. So, Joe, you and your wife have a happy, happy anniversary dinner. And this is the only one I can have right now because I have a lot more stuff to do, but I'm going to go and drink it. Cheers, mate. You earned it. Have a great life together with your wife.